Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. This is a game from the recent weekend tournament European of the intermediate group. Let's take a look and talk about how 1500 MMR players can improve their games. Let's go.
At the bottom here, we have Walading playing as a supply specialist with sledgies and marksman, going very aggro, and is up against TNT11, also known as Bimpy, playing as speed specialist with spiders and ballers. Looking at the board here, I feel like there is a huge weakness from the blue player in terms of chaff clear. The sledgehammers themselves are just terrible with chaff clear. They can maybe deal with 1-to-1 crawler in that ratio, but the moment you make it into 2 crawlers, then these sledgehammers are insufficient. And it looks like they're going to be sitting at the opposite sides. Interesting. And I feel like they both probably thought about a probability about that 90% of the population are right-handed. So they're both going to go on the opposite sides. What I'm really interested in is what the heck are these marksmen doing? One being so forward and two being so close to the sledgies. These guys are just waiting to be missiled in round 2. If I see something like this, I will put down a missile right here. Gets rid of the sledgehammer and the marksman. All right, Bimpy decided to start with 3 spiders. I think three spiders are okay. I will much prefer to start with 2 extra crawlers instead of the 3rd spider for round 1, just to fully capitalize on the lack of chaff clear weakness. 3 spiders is you're kind of feeding experience into the marksman, so that's not great. This sort of tower stuff, you know, it's just a roll of the dice. You never know what's going to happen. All right, we're going to speed this up. I think our blue players should have enough units to deal with these 2 spiders in round 1. And this is where things get a little scary, because I think one of these marksmen is either going to level or be very close to level. And a level 2 marksman can dispatch a level 1 spider in just a few shots. All right. Unit cards here, deployment module, I think is a great option. It allows you to kind of shift the units around to the other side. And right now the other side needs a bit of defense. Or the alternative thought is just to level up on the tower. Right now there are no beam weapons, so no steel balls, no melting points, which means these units will have to deal damage to the tower. So spend that 100, get the tower level, right, and you should be fine. And Walading is thinking the same way. He got the tower level. And a missile. The missile is mostly for chaff clear. No, that's actually Bimpy's missile. Here, dealing with the sledgehammer and the marksman. Very good. Cheeky flank with a tarantula and crawler. So when you're going spider gaming, one of the key moments is to get range on the spiders. But it seems like this round is getting double cheesed on both sides. Neither of these towers is upgraded, so a little unfortunate, but it seems like nothing at the front is going to survive. Right now, Bimpy does not have any upshoot. It is just round 2. So in typical spider aggro, round 2 is the chaff round. Round 3 is when you want to put down some type of upshoot, which is why I prefer marksman spec as the best spec for spider aggro, because marksman comes in round 2. It not only provides anti-air, it also provides anti-unit. So if your opponent has things like steel balls that you just need to dispatch very quickly, it gives you that option. So right now we have a bunch of units just sitting around getting picked up by the Phoenix. All right, in round 3, we got a number of great cards for the spider. I think personally, I will probably go with the haze module on the spider. Mass-produced sledges is also very interesting, but you're already getting into sledge gaming, so it's a little too late to pivot. Instead, it's going to be a improved fire control system. Improved fire control system works great if you're using a spider as a carry unit, which means you're going to need to get range and mechanical rage, and that's a very expensive combo. Not only you have to pay 700 up front just for the text, you have to pay 200 premium, so that's a total of 900 supplies just to get your spiders into sort of a battle spider mode. This round is going to be answering problems. So you're going to be answering both flanks, and you're going to want to be answering the potential rhino drop. Right now, I feel like there's a bit of an overreaction here, especially on the other flank. This tower is already level 2, so you could probably forget about that because these crawlers are going to take all round to get to that tower. Instead, I would much prefer things in the middle, knowing that there's going to be a rhino drop because you want to support your units. Okay, so the rhino is dropped. We still got Mustangs left over, and we are now on to the other tower. Our blue player here added a Wraith, which is an excellent unit to dispatch things like the Mustangs. However, we do have a few spiders left over, so I think the Wraith might just be targeting the spiders. Actually, hold that thought. The Mustangs decided to run forward and run into their deaths, so yeah, a bit unlucky here with the timing. Alright, just judging by the result of this round, irregardless of the air units that Bimpy cannot deal with, I think the spider board is shaping up nicely. Next round, you're going to see at least 2 spiders with a level. What that means, actually just 1, so the other one must be very close. But what that means is you can now take a technology, for example, if you want to go range, that will actually be quite good. Typhoon's picked up as a direct response to the spiders. I wouldn't mind Stormcrawlers from the Blues perspective, because right now the spider is not fully online, so that's a very interesting setup. We're going to have 2 squads of Typhoons in sort of a headbutt situation with the spiders. And of course, the Typhoons might win because the spiders are level 1 and this is the level 3 giant Typhoon. Here's the decision I don't understand, which is AA Wasps. I have no idea why that is on the board. You already have Mustangs to deal with air. You already spend the money on the Mustangs, and Mustangs do work well because Mustangs do outrange the spiders if they both take range, so the Mustang will essentially stay behind the spider. Yes, the Wasps are a drop. I just don't know if those are needed because right now you seriously need a big gun, and these Wasps aren't it. Instead, they're just going to get chewed up by these level 3 Typhoons, and giving this level 3 Typhoon a lot of experience getting to level 4. And this AA, I think it's just like an overreaction. There's one Wraith that you'll probably need AA for, right? And even then, Wasp is not the best unit going to Wraith if you're going to go into sort of a mirror matchup with one side going range A-gun Wraith and the other side going AA range Wasp. If there's ever a battle like that, I probably want to put my money on the Wraith. Yes, your Wasp are going to outrange the Wraith with AA, but the moment that the Wraith with A-gun moves into your Wasp range, one volley is going to wipe the entire squad. So, yeah, I've had that, I played that game before and I was the Wasp player, and that's how I know it's not going to work well to you. Unless your Wasp has like quite a few levels and also has an elite. And at that point, you're essentially Wasp carrying, which you are not at this point. Okay. So judging from the result of last round, that there's a few units that are seriously underperforming. The Wasps, both are being level 2, and if you click on them and look at the damage, the first one did 2,600 damage for a 300 cost unit with the technology, and then the other one did 6,000. These are garbage numbers. I would definitely sell at least one of these Wasps, with the potentially selling another one next turn. Your front line is under siege. Your heaviest units are not doing their job either at tanking nor at destroying your enemy's units. Scorpion is a great option. Scorpions can get double shot, which you don't run, but just Scorpions alone should be decent at popping the shields. And level 4 Typhoon with the shield, that's a fortress shield essentially. That's a fortress shield times 2 because there are 2 Typhoons. Each one of them is going to have 40,000 shield, so that's a bit of a problem. Even with your Scorpions, you're going to take 4 shots, or if the 2 of them are shooting at the same shield, 2 volleys, and that's 9 seconds that you're not able to break free. So that's a big problem. Your opponents just continue to pressure on. The other tower is currently not defended, which means the steel balls are going to lock on. And I'm surprised that the steel ball actually got range in the very first round, is indicating that he wants to stay with the steel ball. And that makes sense because right now the Typhoons are serving as chaff clear and also a bit of a tank. So looking at your opponent's board, I think the Typhoon is kind of the equivalent of your Tarantulas, when the Steel Balls is kind of the equivalent of your Scorpions. But it's still not terrible because the Scorpions themselves can deal with Steel Balls relatively easily. But the big problem though is the Typhoon, specifically the Typhoon Shield, because you do not have, Impy does not have double shot, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. Looking at the Scorpion tech, I'm not a big fan of armor enhancement on the Scorpion. Armor enhancement signals that the Scorpion are going to be in a fight versus Mustangs or Fangs or like small units, or it's going to be in a fight versus things like Vulcan. None of those situations I actually want my Scorpions to be in. If you have a chaff problem, your answer is not get armor and not get killed by the chaff. Your answer is to get chaff clear. And if you have a Vulcan problem, the answer is a melting point. So I think the armor, it may not be the best tech to run on the Scorpion. Stormcaller could be a great option for shield break. But I think at this point, the Sandworm is also very attractive. A level 2 Sandworm popping up in front of the shield is going to be great. Alright, so it's going to be level 3 Fangs. If you're going to get level 3 Fangs, you better get them some tech. But here is the idea of unit efficiency. So at higher, we're looking at like 2000 MMR and up. Players, if you watch those games, players don't usually have more than 2, if not 3 carry units. So we don't count chaffs. So chaffs are crawlers, fans, and sometimes wasps. So we don't count those. But it's just looking at the carry units, most top players have around 3 or less. Sometimes they get a unit drop and they get, you know, more variety, but they very often would just sell those out and then just kind of get back into those core 3 units. When you're playing Mechabellum, there's a sort of a 4 pillar of a healthy board, right? A 4 pillar of healthy board. Pillar 1, you need chaff, and then you need chaff clear, then you need anti-air, and then anti-giant, or some sort of a single unit type of thing. If you can have multiple units that deals with multiple of those roles, you do not need to have that many unit variety. The fewer variety you can get away with, the more powerful they're going to be when you get technologies on them, and the more efficient your board is going to be. So right now, our red player has a somewhat inefficient board because he's answering anti-air with 3 types of units. We have the anti-air wasps, we have the Mustangs, and now we have level 3 Fangs. One of them would be sufficient to deal with the air problem, which means he could have saved a ton of money and put all those money into something that he sorely needs, and at this point is anti-unit. Melting Point would be excellent here at the front, right? Melting Point, even though they're a little slow at breaking the shield, but they can. Scorpion, since those are already on the board, would be pretty good. Right now I see Scorpion getting levels, so give them the level and let them do what they're supposed to do. And then start selling out like your units. I think probably start selling out these Fangs. I find the Mustangs to be a lot more nimble. Or since you already triple tag your Wasp, sell all the Fangs and the Mustangs and just keep the Wasp, right? Don't keep so many units, because right now these are units that you don't have money to tech, and they're just not doing so much. Especially Fangs. Like, yes, they're level 3, but without mech rage and range, they're just not that good. Alright, looking at the blue sports here. Blue is actually doing well. He understands that speed is of his essence, so sledgehammers are no more. His chaff clear is now completely replaced by typhoons, and a single wraith to kind of hold the fort on the side. This wraith is a little expensive, right? This is a 400 supply unit. If given the opportunity, if you don't need that many deployments, I will probably just sell this wraith and replace it with something cheaper and use that money for a technology. I think Typhoons in this current board can be tagged with homing missiles, so it gives them a little bit more firing power into tarantulas and also into scorpions. The boats are currently being countered, which means if you want, you can start selling out the boats and just kind of keep the Typhoons. I mean, Typhoons alone, I feel like they're kind of getting the job done. You can do Typhoon carry with nothing but Typhoons and Chaff, because Typhoon is one of those units, if you get high enough levels, they fill every single pillar except Chaff, right? So they're Chaff clear, they're anti-unit, and then they're anti-air. Chaff clear is obvious, right, because of their twin Gatling guns. Anti-unit is because of their homing missile, and of course they shoot air. Oh, we'll get down to 3 HP for Bimpy here. Nuke is being offered. Nuke is very dangerous, especially in a final round like this, because you don't know where things are going to land. But just looking at the board, is most likely going to land on the right-hand side. Right, so here it is, nuke coming down. If I were Bimpy at a final round, I will abandon the right-hand side, completely abandon the right-hand side. I would go even as far as selling one of the Scorpion, just say bye-bye, see you later, move all your wasps over to the other side, drive them into that tower, because you're going to see that nuke coming from a mile away. There's just no reason for them to nuke on the other side with a level 4 tower. So just abandon ship, move everything to the other side, sell one of your Scorpions, get some money, and then buy a bunch of Scorpions with range. And pray that the Typhoons don't get homing missiles. Because your Scorpion with range can actually shoot pretty far and deal with the Typhoons before it gets too close. And then your high-level Wasp should be able to deal with these boats. But instead, it's going to be more units piling up onto the area that's most likely going to get nuked. And that's not good. And these shields are going to do absolutely nothing because of chain gun. Chain guns are like super broken. They're the one-click solution to anything big. And they only cost 300. So super broken. And that includes popping shields. They're really good at these type of things. So these shields are not going to survive at all. Which means nukes are going to land and it's going to hurt. Whoa, that hurts. Alright, we're going to get to tower. And we are going to get all these units here. And they still might be around. No, we don't have enough units to deal with this level 6 Typhoon. Holy cow. Yeah, we need Scorps. We need Melting Point. Preferably Melting Point. Otherwise, just there's no answer to this. But these sort of things come with experience, right? Whenever you see a heavy ability like that, your alarm bells should go off. And you should put yourself in the shoes of your opponent. If I am playing my opponent, one, would I get this item? This was the last round. There's like 99% chance that he's going to get the nuke. And if he's going to get the nuke, think about where he's going to put the nuke. It makes no sense to put the nuke on the other side, which consists mostly chaff and a level 4 tower. He doesn't need to get the level 4 tower. He needs to get the rest of your army. So let's give it a try, right? Assuming you have the knowledge and you do see the nuke coming down, what are some of the things you can do? So here's what I would suggest. First, take Assault Melting Point. They're great. Put all your units over to the other side. Unlock Melting Point. And sell something, maybe these guys. Abandon ship. Like all the way abandon ship. Actually, you know what? Let's draw them in. So we know we're gonna have a nuke here. Let's just draw them in. Let's get them into the nuke here. Melting Point. Range. Suck. and temp range. All right. There's no anti-air to speak of on this side. So we can probably do this. We'll have the wasp here. These guys can probably stick around like this. Maybe a little closer to the mid. And let's just put a missile here because I don't want to deal with the steel. Okay, so they're gonna come in. They're actually gonna walk into their own nuke. That's the whole reason we want to abandon ship. So they're gonna walk into their own nuke. Boom, get some boats. Really nice. Gets the tower, no problem. And that's it for chaff. You got some anti-air, but you got level 3 fans to back you up. You're also getting tower on the other side. Alright, let's speed this up a little bit. Wasp coming in. Cool. This is why we need to have a suck on the melting point, because this is the stuff that melting point can do. And then you survive the round. And then next turn, because you already have big melting points walking around, you flip the board and you win the game.
I hope you liked the video. I don't believe you've seen this one. So if you got some time, I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.